It's Sea-Duck Again is brought to you by Hackensack Brewing Company and their Imperial Pilsner Auga, which was created in honor of the legendary DJs The Awesome Two. Thick Crates, pure hip-hop satisfaction. Check out their limited edition new releases available now on Instagram. Weaponized Records, an independent music label serving up underground hip-hop. The revolution will not be televised. It will be weaponized. Rap Central Station Mag Paper, the world's first art rap chart magazine. And the Spit Slam Record Label Group. The Spit Slam Record Label Group, a Chuck D situation. Catch us on your favorite streaming platform, on Bandcamp, or visit our official web store at spitslamrecords.com. All releases are available digitally or on CD, with select titles available on vinyl and cassette. The Spit Slam Record Label Group. Throwback to the future sound.
Strutting like a peacock, shouting from the treetop. Deep roots like bebop. Once again, it's C-Dot. Chock-a-block, sonic, phonic, freedom, rock, boxing. Shock, jock, flatline, hip-hop out foxing. Ultra mag flossing, Jenny O bossing. Channel Zero watching, awesome friends blossom. Caution to the wind as the soul buck spins. Rip the microcosm, knocking down duck pins. Props from within, and when Chuck drops in, we shine like the light, cause life is paper thin. It's Tuesday, begin to learn from your kin, bringing uncut gems. It's C-Doc again.
It's C-Doc again.
Yes, y'all. It's Tuesday night. Welcome back to Channel Zero and to another episode of It's C-Doc Again. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Thanks for joining us. And everybody watching on the replay, too. Thank you for spending time with us. We're going to have some interesting conversation tonight. Taking it up to Beantown, Northeast, Boston. You know, Black Medine is from there, and this brother worked with Black Medine quite a bit back in the day, as well as a whole bunch of other artists. We're going to be talking to Leedz from Leedz Edutainment here in just a minute. First up, got to introduce the homegirl who got her start in classic rap radio at the very first all rap station, KDAY in Los Angeles. Our lady from the heyday of K-Day, Jennifer Jenny.
What is up?
What's the haps?
It's hot as shit out here.
Oh man, it's been really nice lately, and it warmed up today, and I was like, I was hoping it was going to be early fall, but not going to happen.
Are you feeling better?
I'm feeling better, yes. I think I'm about. I haven't taken another test. I gotta take another test just to be sure, but I'm pretty good. So, thank you. 85, 90%, we'll say. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Better than, as my mother would have said, fair to middling.
Yes. Much better than fair to middling. Yeah. Yep. Yes, indeed. Shout out to our homie Ultramag7, who is a little under the weather this evening. So watch those dumplings. Shout out to Ghost Boogie in the house. And speaking of Ultramag, Ghost Boogie did an interview with Ultramag last night. So go check that out on
rest in
channel. Yeah.
Peace, Dolly Parton.
And rest in peace, Dolly Parton. Yeah. How about that?
Crazy.
Yep. Crazy indeed. Well, let's get to it. Our guest is a promoter, an executive producer. He put out mixtapes. He's done quite a bit of stuff, and he's still going. And he has a new album out now. We're going to talk about all of that fun stuff. Please welcome to the show, Leedz from Leedz Edutainment.
Hey.
What's
How we
happening?
doing?
Wait, I got to give you the applause button. There you go. What's
Here.
good, bro?
It's good to be here.
Yeah. How's the weather up there? Is it hot in Boston?
Yeah, so this was cooler earlier this week, but now it heated up today. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Bostonians, we like to complain about not being warm enough, and then when it's warm enough, we complain about being too warm. So,
Yeah. I think we all do that, don't we?
then next month, everybody be happy for September, and then
Yeah.
back to complaining in October.
Mm-hmm. That's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
So you have a new project out, recent project. What was it? July 17th, right? Is when it
Yeah.
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 Hard to learn.
Yes.
Right. Yes. And I was listening to it earlier, and as we were saying before the show started, it's kind of an epic project.
Yes.
You have a lot of guests on there.
40.
40? Wow.
40 guests.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, so you working as a promoter for years, right? I'm assuming that's how you made all these connects. And
Yeah, I mean, I started promoting shows in like 2004 in Boston at the Middle East nightclub, and that's how I got really my start in the game, really. And like 200, 500 cap shows, and pretty much it booked every underground independent artist that was coming through. A lot of dudes from the 90s, and then a lot up and coming in the 2000s, and it's kind of made made a name for myself during that era. And made a lot of connections, so people like working with me. So I did that up until primarily as a full-time job up until COVID.
Yeah. And
then pivoted after that. But I always was making mixtapes, managing artists, making albums in between all of it. So this Hard to Learn is like my 9th project. If you count all the mixtapes and everything. So this is always what I've been doing along the way.
Now, are you you're not a beat maker, are you?
No, let me clarify that. I am more of when I put together an album, I'm working as a curator, really, or an executive producer. Right. So I'm not making the beats, I'm not doing the raps. But, this project, I came up with all the song concepts.
Okay.
Before that, it was more like, let me pick a few beats, send them to the rappers, and then they kind of come up with what they come up with. This one, I was like, I want to do more. So I'm going to come up with all the concepts, so it makes it feel more of a part of it, and then kind of craft this album around all the different concepts. So that's technically what I do, and then executive produce the whole thing, put it all together, make sure everything's mixed, mastered, package it up, and then do all the marketing and promotion as well.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, because I was trying to think earlier, because you and I have talked before, and and I. Most of the tracks on the new record are produced by Archetype, right?
He did about 90% of it.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of it's cohesive, and the success of a lot of it is just because of his ability to make everybody sound good and keep it all cohesive together with, with his sound.
Yeah. So I was trying to think earlier. I'm like, there's not a lot of, I don't think there are a whole lot of people that have done this, where actually, as an executive producer that's not as hands-on, but putting out an album, like in a position like you are. Usually it's a producer, somebody that's actually more hands-on or like that. So I thought that was very unique in that case.
I mean, it's always kind of what I did. Back in the day, before streaming and all that, you'd be in the various artist aisle in the CD in the CD section. You know what I mean? Where albums went to die.
Right.
And that's my first one was like that. It was Mass Movements, and it was like it was at the end of the CD era, and it went right straight to various artists, and that was like the worst thing you could be, And then I never really wanted to brand myself out there as like the artist, but you kind of have to prevent that. Right. So I just kind of rolled with, okay, this is a Leedz Edutainment album, and I just kind of put myself a little bit in the forefront just to say what it is. Yeah. So it wouldn't be just this compilation that came out of nowhere, just put a face with it marketing wise.
Yeah. No, very smart. And,
I mean, I was definitely inspired by, like you said, the producers, like in soundtracks, Judgment Night soundtrack, Soul in the Hole, Prince Paul, Prince Amongst Thieves, stuff. The way he's done albums, and Pink Floyd, The Wall. I mean, these conceptual albums that have kind of always kind of draw my attention in. Plus, I'm a movie buff, So kind of making the album cinematic in a way is kind of what I always like to do, to kind of separate it from the rest.
Right. And you can kind of tell also from the skits that you have to help kind of thread the narrative.
Back in the day, when it was mixtapes, I would sample movies.
Yeah.
Just sample movies and like, I would do all that, and I would put together these mixtapes of like movies. But legally can't really do that. It's really hard. It's going to get tracked down on the streaming sites. So, and I was like, well, and then I did an album. Eastern Standard with no skits, no transitions, and it just felt, bare. Good, but it just felt bare. Like I didn't tie it together. So I was like, all right, well, I'll come back with Worker Among Workers, and then I did skits again, and people loved it. So I was like, all right, then this is how I need to. This is the glue.
Yeah.
How we tell the story and keep the narrative and the emotional arc of an album.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's still about albums. Like,
yeah.
We're in such a single-driven, what's hot, like just and putting a bunch of singles on an album. I wanted this to be a story in a way, and tell a story with the album and bring back that. And I've been lucky because a lot of people caught that. Like some of the press that wrote about it saw what I was trying to do, and they noted that. So that was nice to be like recognized that, hey, you're actually noticing what I'm trying to do here, versus just here's a bunch of songs and a bunch of notable names and go listen.
Right. So what was the genesis of this particular project? What was the starting point?
Well, I was coming out of, when I did Worker Among Workers, I was kind of about going from being kicked out of the nightclub business because of COVID, everything, and shutting down and trying to find your bearings in the music business after you've lost your career path.
Yeah.
And during that time period, I got back in the studio, started recording, and found that passion again. And then kind of life took a turn. I ended up getting divorced, financial issues, lost a lot of stuff, and just kind of was scrambling for the next 3 years to try to save my condo and just dealing with divorce aftermath and all the stuff that comes with that. So I would just, it was just, I wanted to kind of talk about what was going on in my life and put, in perseverance and just kind of like dealing with these hard times and these lessons that are learned. They're painful, but necessary sometimes. So it's just kind of where all the, the concepts came from, is just kind of persevering through the struggle of life.
Yeah, there's a skit on the album where you actually come out and you talk about dealing with the divorce. I was like, wow, that's really incredibly honest, that he would put it out there like that. So yeah, you didn't beat around the bush.
Well, I mean, I'm sure I'm not the first person to get divorced.
Of course.
I always say that. I'm like, I'm not the first person to get divorced, and I'm definitely not going to be the last person to be divorced. She's shaking her head, so I'm guessing she's divorced up there. Once or twice.
Jennifer knows.
Twice, okay. So she gets it. Jennifer, nice to meet you.
Yes, you too.
Yes. So she understands. Divorce sucks.
Yes, it does.
The process sucks. And it can really just, leave you feeling stranded and displaced.
Yeah.
And to me, it was like I had to work all the time because I was in debt and I was working like all these hours. And as if I wasn't making music or doing something with that time and have some type of enjoyment, like something outlet, I would have went crazier than I went, So that's what this album was. And, so I came up with all these concepts and just aligned everybody to them.
I'm sitting here mesmerized. Are you from Boston?
Oh, yeah. New England based.
Would you please tell me to park my car?
You do me a favor and go park your car.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's my grandmother. That's why I'm like mesmerized, because that's my grandmother.
I'm New England based, so I grew up in a small town called Georgetown, Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mom remarried. I went to southern New Hampshire, which is a lot of like Massachusetts people just bought homes in southern New Hampshire, drove hours to work. And then I moved to Boston in like 2001, and I pretty much have been here ever since. But I always had a Boston accent. So some are worse than others.
Listen. I could tell you stories.
Yeah,
I could tell you stories about my grandmother.
I bet. Where part of Boston was she from?
I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know is she
Irish?
Scottish.
Guessing maybe Dorchester, Southie,
Yes, very very much
South Shore.
Scottish. But yeah,
I got Scottish
she did,
blood.
she did a lot of parking cars and
Yeah.
yeah,
Nice.
and I had cousins named Marshall and
Yeah.
Yeah. yeah.
Nice. Small world.
So okay, so real quick, we'll talk about, since you mentioned where you grew up and stuff. I believe I read that you got into hip hop around '91. Is that right? When you heard Apocalypse '91 by PE and Death Certificate by Ice Cube?
Yeah, 91 was such a great introduction year. I was a rock fan, the 80s rock stuff, like Poison, Guns N' Roses, and
Yeah.
as a kid, all that stuff, and anything that was on MTV, Michael Jackson, basically pop stuff.
Right.
So the rap that was making it to that was just like kind of too basic for me, like Tone Loc and like Fresh Prince and Young MC and those things. They were cool, but I was like, it's a little too basic, and it was a little too commercially, it was just too friendly.
Yeah.
And but when I moved to New Hampshire, I had a neighbor, and he had all that shit from '91. He was sitting there in CD, like fucking Low End Theory, Death Certificate, Apocalypse '91, Fear Black Planet, all that nice and smooth, Dell, and I just Ice-T, Body Count, and I was just, Ice Cube in particular, Death Certificate. I remember just playing it, being like, this is crazy. I've never heard anything like this. You know what I mean? And this white kid growing up in the suburbs, and you hear Death Certificate. And Apocalypse '91, that intro, man, to this day, Lost at Birth is my favorite intro of all time. And that's kind of inspired me. But later, so I was kind of like dabbling in '91, and I was kind of like, I liked it. I was testing the waters, and then like Ice Cube Predator dropped, I think in like '92.
'92, yeah.
And the packaging with the pipe and the skull is behind me somewhere.
Yeah.
I had that tape, and I was like, I gotta buy this just to hear it. And that intro, first day of school, into When Will They Shoot, I was hooked. Like that sound and everything, I was like, this is incredible. And also like Ice-T, Body Count, how he was taking the rock and fusing with rap, that pulled me in. And then Apocalypse '91, Bring the Noise, the rock, the Anthrax remix, was pulling me from rock into rap. And the combination there is what got me in there.
Yeah. So, okay, so yeah, and then did you go to college?
I did, Northeastern.
Okay. What did you study?
Music business.
Oh, okay.
I just realized, do I need a direct line on this? Is wireless going to be okay for the streaming?
So far, so good.
You would notice it now, right?
Yeah.
I had one issue one time when I didn't use I didn't use wireless and didn't come in.
No, you seem fine so far. So.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I went to Northeastern. Well, first off, I went to New Hampshire Tech Institute because no college would take me out of high school. I barely graduated with 1.7.
Oh, wow.
So the guidance counselor was like, you should go to this community college. They have a dorm. I wanted to get out of my hometown. I went there. I unfortunately, like, I went in there for an associate's in business and walked out of there with a bachelor's in dealing marijuana. And thought that was going to be my career for a while, and hustled my ass off and saved money, and then got into Northeastern and got my grades up, went to Northeastern, and then I got pinched my first semester in fucking Northeastern.
Wow.
Yeah, sent me off and set me back a little bit. Luckily beat the case and then walked away and everything. A legal search and seizure, but
wow.
Then I landed back in Northeastern, finished there, and then that's when I started Leedz Edutainment, the promotions company.
Gotcha.
Someone said I bought weed from him. You probably did if you were in New Hampshire.
Goes Boogie.
We were close to Lawrence, so we had good deals.
Oh, nice.
Shout out Lawrence.
What was the first show that you booked? You remember?
Royce the 5'9", Cunning Linguists, Tone Deaf, Pac FM, and then a local artist. Juice. Remember the battle dude, Juice, that so-called beat Eminem? He was on there.
Wow.
And then local artist Jake the Snake, went by JDS at the time. That was my first show in the Middle East.
Wow.
It was right when what was the Royce album that came out with the Primo joint Hip Hop? Not the Boom, the one that came after. Death is Certain. Is that the name of it? It was that album. It wasn't the first album.
Right. Okay.
But it was still good. Yes, Juice from Chicago. Someone chimed in. Yes.
Yeah.
And I thought that was going to be the biggest show in the world, and I lost like $3,000. So, yeah. That's when you get in a promoter. You get so excited about the artist and whatnot. You're like, it's going to sell out. You don't really know what you're doing. And you just might as well just light. It was a good show, but I might as well just lit some money on fire in the back of my house and stay at home. It was still good to be there and everything. It was good to be a part of the scene. That's how it connected me to the Boston hip hop scene at that time. Ed OG hosted it along with Peter Parker, and that was my start. And from there, I figured out how to kind of make the math work with all the shows, and I did it 16 years. I'm still kind of doing it. I don't really put my own shows money up anymore, but like I did it for 16 years from right there. Boom.
You made it work.
I did.
Yeah. So when did you start putting out like the mixtapes?
Well, that was always a thing before the shows, early 2000s, I started making mixtapes and with all that great, the hip hop renaissance period of that time, you know what I mean? All the underground, everything was 12 inches. I mean, bands were like touring, groups were touring off of 12-inch sets.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was wild.
Yeah.
So I had all that stuff. Not gonna lie, some illegal downloading as well. And I would just put together these mixtapes, like I said, with movies and everything, because it was, I was an only child growing up, single mom. I watched movies, so I just had collected DVDs. I had all that. I just had great samples to tie things together, and so I just started doing that. That's kind of how it all started. But even started before that, actually, because back in the tape era, just making mixtapes on tapes with record pause just for myself and my family and my friends and basketball teams and all that stuff. I've been doing this, now that I think about it, I've been putting together mixtapes, albums, compilations, whatever, since I was 7.
Right.
So it's all kind of went from that tape to burnt CDs, then to mixtapes. Like I did, industry mixtapes with mostly underground hip hop. I didn't really do commercial stuff. And then when I moved to Boston, I started doing it for the local artists. One big one in particular was Slain. White Man is the Devil, Volume 1 and 2. I did those, and I had all that history of samples and everything. So I put together Slain, White Man is the Devil in that fashion and made it kind of like this Dance with the Devil, Ride Through Hell thing.
Yeah.
And it took off like wildfire. Like Slain blew up, and it was just great. Everybody loved it. And I did Volume 2, and I started doing mixtapes like that. And then, just started doing, I did a write-off series. But then I started working with artists, like making music from scratch. Went into that, and that's where I started working with Black Medine, Right Hook, Amadeus the Stampede, Stu Cat, now Stu Lee, Slain, compilations that way, making music from scratch, tying it all together with the samples, and then it just and then it just turned into so I was done working with all those artists and started making my own again. So it's kind of where it's all gone.
Right. So was that like Mass Movements?
Yeah, Mass Movements initially was a mixtape of just already music that was out. The first one, and then the second one was a mix of already out and exclusive tracks, and the album was all exclusive tracks.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of what it was.
Yeah. Wow.
Interesting.
It's always been my favorite part of the music business. It wasn't shows. Like shows were cool, don't get me wrong, they were great and everything, but making the music, ideally, and being behind the scenes there and the boards and like making that stuff work, like that was why I'm here, really. It just wasn't really an opportunity because when I got into the music business, I literally was in school in the early 2000s and teaching us the system that was failing as we speak.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They'd be like, oh, this is how the music industry works. Well, all the labels are going out of business. Okay. Well, what are you going to do? Well, what didn't go out of business was live entertainment. So I was able to go in there and no one really, the big boys like Live Nation and Bowery wasn't, AG wasn't in Boston at the time, but Live Nation didn't really want to touch hip hop, didn't really know what to do with it.
Right.
Didn't really have as many venues as they do now. So I was able to create like a niche there. And good reputations with the agents kept me in the game.
Yeah. And did you strictly book shows at the Middle East? Is that where you?
No, I did a couple other small spots like the Western Front, McGann's, Harper's Ferry, which is now Brighton Music Hall, which is a pretty notable venue. But the Middle East had a good history before I even started.
Yeah.
Like they were doing, like Public Enemy played there. Remember,
Yeah.
I think we talked about it.
Yep.
Public Enemy shot a video in there.
Yeah.
For 500 cap room.
Yep.
And I had seen Public Enemy. I couldn't get into that show. I was pissed. Someone says, as I worked with Stu Bangers. Yes, me and Stu did a lot of work together in the beginning. We don't work so much together now, but yeah, we definitely did in the beginning. But yeah, I saw Wise Intelligence there. Poor Righteous Teachers. I saw Jerry the Damager at the Middle East, Afu Ra, Dilated Peoples, High and Mighty. I had seen all these shows at the Middle East, and and I was like, what is this place? Like I grew up in the suburbs, so it was like only concerts I ever went to were massive.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
like stadiums or
Stadium
like
shows. Yeah.
big stuff. Little nightclub stuff, not really. So it was kind of cool. Like, what is this little like club? Really kind of cool indie stuff, because like I said, I lived in New Hampshire. They didn't really have indie stuff, like indie movies, indie hip hop didn't really exist up there.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this is so cool. This is everything I like. So I had a little bit of a blueprint. I worked with a company, Metro Concepts. It was kind of throwing shows, doing guerrilla marketing, handing out flyers, stuff like that. So I kind of saw them do it. They stopped doing it. So I just picked up where they left off.
Wow.
Tough business though.
Oh yeah. Yo, man, it takes a special kind. I remember trying to put on shows here in Pittsburgh, and I was doing it at a very small scale, and that shit is rough. It is.
Yeah,
rough.
Pittsburgh's a tough market too.
It is. Yeah.
It's not Philly.
No.
It's not Philly.
Nope. Not at all, man.
Philly's a good market. Pittsburgh, not a little small.
Yeah. Philly is a good market. They have stuff going through there all the time, but we don't for whatever reason. So, yeah.
It's tough because there's probably not enough people to come out.
Yeah. And this was probably I was doing it right about the same time you were. So, you got started. I didn't last very long.
Yeah, we got lucky in Boston. Boston's had a good scene. The city has a lot to offer, and people come here, and it's just kind of like you can do stuff in the city that you can't do in every other city. We're lucky there.
And a very underrated hip hop scene too.
Yeah, we don't really have an industry here, so people don't blow up here. You're seeing it more now, I think, because social media and streaming have given people more outlets than they had.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have had a long history of not really having, big labels and doing, big things that, so like my era, like the early 2000s, that era, like we got screwed because, CDs and physical format was going out the window. Yep. And you didn't have streaming yet, and social media really wasn't being used for promoting music that much. It was starting in the early days, so we just kind of lost a lot of momentum there. Yeah. The best we had was you made you had to press your album up on a mixtape and then hand it out for free at a show, and then maybe you could get some people to download it for free on Bandcamp. Right. That's kind of like how and then YouTube was starting to come through, and then the blog era came. But the blog era was tough. And then shortly after that, you're streaming. And now artists are getting really, in Instagram, these things have really taken off. So now, artists are out here getting big. You have artists that are selling out 3,000 person venues.
Yeah.
That wasn't really common. If you did 500 in my era, that was really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but we have a lot of talent out here. We just don't have much industry.
Yeah.
So it's tough to, we've always kind of struggled to figure out where we fit. We don't have like a definitive sound like other cities. Like we're kind of like a New York. We kind of like, boom bap is big, but we're not the godfathers of boom bap. New York,
right.
So we kind of fall under that a little bit. Southern music isn't huge up here. Southern artists have trouble. They just did a Paul Wall show up here, did well, but down south they would have done 3 times the numbers.
Sure.
So really, our sound is just throwing our accent around the place.
Well, Paul Wall's doing this stuff with terminology, right?
Yeah, I think he goes out of his way to show. What I like about him, he's like, yeah, I can do boom bap, but here I go. You know what I mean? And he wants a presence in the East, even if it isn't as big. And a lot of artists don't understand that. From when I used to book shows, they'd be like, well, I get 20 grand in Texas. Well, you're not going to get 20 grand in Boston. You're not going to do the same numbers, but they would just be like, I don't move for less. But some of them did, but a lot, I'm going to just say Texas. That's just an example of a state. That's not that all artists, trust me, artists have said that from many different states. But it's just like, it's just the nature of the business, dude. But it's like, knowing what artists work. And there's artists out from up here that do really well in New York and Boston, but, would struggle in Minnesota.
Yeah, sure.
Or would struggle in the South and in the Midwest. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
So it's, it's very demographic. It's demographical. Is that the word? It's regional. It's regional. I shouldn't say demographic. It's regional still. It does. Sound is regional. But for us, we kind of float under the New York sound a little bit. I try to, like with this album, I tried to bring kind of Boston grit. We have a really gritty, in a good way, like lifestyle, like just hardworking people out here. Love playing the music, hardworking class. They've got like the grit to get through the day. So it's not like gritty, like grimy, like saying like ridiculous stuff. It's just like true grit. Just what it takes to survive.
Yeah.
And to me, that's how I grew up, and that's how a lot of people I know grew up, and that's kind of like how most people grow up. But I think out here, it's because of the weather. It's a little more grittier. It's colder out here. Yeah, it's cold. Yeah, guys got to work outside in that shit.
Yep,
that's not ideal. That's gritty. That's fucking gritty. I don't give a fuck.
But you're right. The sound of the album reflects that.
Yeah, because it's working class. To me, like Boston, Massachusetts, New England, it's working class people.
Yeah.
Boston, the city, is full of a lot of rich people too, and there's a lot of really fancy stuff in Boston. They've made it significantly fancier, but New England in general, good working class people.
When you started the record, who were the first artists that you like? Did you start with a list of like, okay, this is who I'm going to try to get?
No, it was I didn't have the money to really. I was like I said, I was struggling financially, and when you put together an album like this, it costs fucking money,
right?
And I was like, oh, this is painful, and someone says, yeah, you got good seafood. We do got good seafood, but you can't make an album about seafood. Good. It may be a song, an whole album about seafood. If you like lobster's great up here. A lot of the fish we have up here is great. Chowder, stuff like that. But also like food, real quick to make food, like Boston baked beans and hot dogs. You know, it's also very basic. You know, so it's you're gonna get it's more. That's kind of what we're at. We're like seafood or hot dogs and baked beans. That's what we're known for. Some chowder. But so yeah, when the album, it was like, I don't know how I'm gonna pull this off. I was taking a break just because of the divorce and everything, and I was online, and I was itching to do something, and Murs made a post on Instagram. He's like, "Yo, I'm doing features. One of those I'm doing features posts. Hit me up if you want one."
Yeah.
But he was like clearly saying like, "Hey, like this isn't going to be cheap for you. So
right.
Like, don't think you're going to be doing this for like freaking $500."
Right.
So I was like, So I was like, it's like I was. I said, you know what though? Like I've always wanted to do a song with Murs. I've worked with Murs. Probably did more Murs shows than anything else. I probably did like 6 or 7 of those. As an independent artist touring, Murs has been doing it nonstop since he came out.
Yep.
He for the blueprint for like independent artists touring, putting their own music and everything, and just without being massive. Not that he did have his massive moments. He had a major label at one point, but like the majority of his career. And he just knew how to tour and play the game. He knew that he was worth less in certain markets, more in others, and consistency and everything. Mercer was the man. So he was like, "Oh, I'm doing this. I'll do a feature and blah blah blah." And I was like, "All right, I can't turn this down." I said, "Screw it. I don't care if I go broke. I don't have to care if I work 80 hours the next couple of weeks. I don't care. I got to do it." And I hit him up, and he was like, "All right, man, like my rate is this, but since we've known each other, I'll give you, let me know what you can do." And I said, "Okay." And I threw him some beats, some archetype beats. He's like, "I love the beats." And he set it off, and it was everything. I didn't even give him, like, that wasn't doing I just started with the concepts. So I was like, just give me something kind of spiritual. I was telling him kind of where I was going with it. I didn't really know exactly where it was going, but, and he just nailed it. And I was like, man, this is awesome. And that feeling came back to me. And, finished the track with Blueprint, Serene Poems, and, Blueprint. Both of those guys brought their A game, and it was like, all right, what's next? and that set the whole thing off.
How did you decide who was going to be on what tracks? Like, I thought Merce and Blueprint, that was great. It was a great combo. How did you decide the rest of them?
What, the rest of the songs, or the rest of that track?
Yeah, no, just like in general, like how did you, like, was it like a wish list team of like, oh, I'd like to hear this person, or was it more?
Well, I mean, I definitely have like a wish list in my mind of artists I loved, right? Like, I worked with, I wanted to do a song with, I did, but it wasn't like I didn't go there first.
Okay.
I had the concepts. I write down concepts as they come to me in my head throughout the day. Like, oh, this would be a good song. This would be a good song idea. Or something that hits me. Like, I'll hear something that hits me. You know what I mean? So I have hundreds of concepts. So then I just started, I would go with the concept. And then the next one was like Learn to Suffer. That was like the next song. Like, I wanted to Learn to Suffer. And I hit a Problematic, who's a local dude out here, great MC, Block McLeod. And that's how the next one happened. So I kind of go with the concepts and then, find one artist, see if that happens, and then play off that. You know what I mean? An artist that would fit good together stylistically, because you don't want it to be, you don't want like Lil Wayne with friggin' Murs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not that I would do that anyway, but like I'm saying is you want it to make it to be as close together and make sense as much as possible, just from a marketing perspective.
Yeah.
So like Blueprint, obviously, and Serene Poems fit great with Murs.
Right.
So it's like finding, sometimes I'll go with the first artist first, like Reef the Lost Cause. Did one with Reef the Lost Cause. And then I was like, oh, who would go good with Reef? Acrobatic would go great with Reef.
Yeah.
Right? And then, okay, Acrobatic. And then, okay, who else can we get that makes sense? Well, M. Dot from Boston wanted to do one with him. He's done, he would go great in this too. And then a lot of times when I send it to them, they love it. And that just makes things way easier.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you know what I mean? And it's like, well, they love the song, and a lot of that has to do with archetypes, production, Bear the Burden was DC the Midi Alien. you know, and you know, if they're feeling like some artists are more heady than others, some will just do it, you know, like, so like with Acrobatic, he was kind of like, oh, I like this concept, but let me tweak it a little bit my way. And it came out amazing. Right. You know, so like, I'm never like, I'm flexible in that world.
Right.
You know, but like I said, it comes concept first and then find the right artist to fit the concept. And then the other artists to go well with the first artist.
Gotcha. Did you
and then try not to do the same thing, and then try not to do the same thing you've done already.
Yeah, right. Well, there's that too. There's always that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
did so conceptually, then once you had the tracks, how was it putting the album together, assembling it? Did you already kind of have an idea, or for the sequence, or
the sequence kind of comes together later? Like,
yeah.
I know. Once I'm like 7 or 8 in, I kind of, okay, now I can, where's this album going? Right?
Right.
Do we need skits? How about these other tracks? What can I make? What else do I really want to do? What is the song concept I really want to put on this record, you know? And that's kind of the sequencing, just kind of, it's going along. I probably can't get the sequencing the way I know where it is until I at least have it 50% done.
Right. Okay.
And then I can build from there. And that's, you know, that's, to me, is easy. To me, that's my favorite part. That's what I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm passionate about making the songs too. Don't get me wrong. Like, that makes me more passionate, but it makes me more passionate about sequencing, knowing I made the songs.
Right.
But it's, to me, it's like, that's the fun part. That's always what I loved, was putting mixtapes together and tying it all together and having this emotional arc that goes up and down. And it just tells you this story, and the album ends and you're like, oh shit. You know what I mean? And so to me, that's like, you know, some people would say, man, that seems difficult. But to me, it's like, yo, that comes as natural as anything else. I'm telling you right now. Yeah. I guess that's would be considered a gift for me, but you know what I mean? It's just what I love to do.
Not everybody's good at it, man. Like,
I can see why they wouldn't be.
Right. Like, you really got to think those things through, and I don't think certain artists do.
I think it's from my years of watching movies,
probably,
and just watching stories.
Yeah,
visually. Mm-hmm. And I always wanted to be in the film business, but I was in Boston. There was no industry for that here, so music kind of filled that gap. You know, if I had my choice, I would have been a movie director. But music was more, I just kind of apply that mindset to putting an album together.
Yeah. When did you know it was finished?
When I had all the songs done, I knew it was ready. You know, is it ever really finished? I think so.
Yeah, right.
You know, mixing and mastering, that was a different animal. But like, I kind of poor archetype. I put him through hell. I don't know what happened to me, but in the mastering process, OCD kicked in. Like, I started hearing shit that didn't even exist, and it was just wild.
Wow.
Yeah, the snares were just like, couldn't get the snares right. They were all like, you know, it was like I was hyper focused on snares. There was one song that I don't know what the heck was happening, but something wasn't working sonically, and you know, I couldn't let it slide. I had gone that far, and I was just like, I mean, I definitely surrendered at the end, but it was just microscopic stuff, and but I had never had that happen. I had been picky before, but I had never had my OCD kicked in like that.
Never that picky.
Yeah, but I heard it can happen. I was talking to a couple of engineers, like, yeah, sometimes right before the finished goal line, this can happen. So I was like, all right. So,
that's always when I get pickiest too, so I get it.
Because you start hearing shit that ain't even there, that you didn't even notice.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're like, well, listen, if I don't fix this now, I'm going to be pissed later on that I didn't fix it now.
Exactly. And I came this far. And see, this album took me fucking 3 years to fucking make. I was like,
yeah,
I didn't come this far to
Let this shit slide.
Just let this slide right now, dude. But it was grueling at the end there, the mastering. It's tough because, again, you're talking about archetype, is the, got the foundation with the beats, but all those verses were not recorded at that studio.
Oh,
a
yeah,
lot of them came in. Some studios better than others, man. You know what I mean? And there was a couple verses, I'm not going to say who, where we were like working on that for an hour to get, not an hour, hours to get it sounding right.
Right.
So to be cohesive. Thank you, man. Someone says salute. Is that Chuck D? Is that actually Chuck? D. Oh, shout out Chuck D, man. Yep. I was like, is this another handle for Chuck D? But salute to Chuck D, man.
Yeah.
Big inspiration.
That's him.
Yeah, Bomb Squad albums. I mean, Takes a Nation, Fear Black Planet. It's talking about putting concept albums together.
Yeah.
Big inspiration, man. Apocalypse, definitely. Yep. Fear Black, Takes a Nation.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
Yeah. Chuck and I have had conversations about putting Fear of a Black Planet together. That record is...
Oh, my God.
I know, right?
Oh, my God.
Unbelievable.
So many different things and skits and things coming in and out and stuff. It's wild, man. And
yep.
Cube too, Cube with Death Certificate and De La and
yep.
These albums were just out. Redman.
Yes. What the album? Holy shit.
What the album? I mean, Muddy Waters and Dare is a Dark Side. I mean, these are just these are albums that are like conceptually, it's like wow. I mean, Gangstar Moment of Truth.
Yeah.
These are some of my favorites of all time.
Chuck said
destroyed my
Fear of a Black Planet destroyed his cerebral.
I would believe that because there was probably so much going on and complex and mixing. And I mean, I would probably lose my mind trying to master that thing. Holy shit.
Right.
Wild.
Ghost Boogie wants to know what's your favorite genre of film?
Drama.
Drama.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up on drama. As a kid, I liked Schwarzenegger, Stallone.
Of course, yeah.
Those were fun and easy to digest. But my mom was always watching like Sophie's Choice, Angel Heart, like The Night Mother, like Sissy Spacek, De Niro, like all these things, like really heavy dramas. And I'd walk in and Kiss of the Spider Woman, and I'd walk in and I'd be like, "What are you watching?" And she'd be like, "Leave the room." I was like, but it'd be like these intense stories, and I'd be like, "Man, this is wild." I couldn't digest it at the time, but as I got older, I was to think about it. And then like I watched so many movies and saw so many of the big blockbusters, and the plots just got so cliche to me. You know what I mean? Like, you can't like seeing the same thing over and over again was just like, all right, I'm bored. Right. So I just kind of shifted towards like more complex independent films, and then just really gritty realism in films, like stuff that was really real life shit. You know what I mean? Like those are some of my favorite movies. You know what I mean? Yeah. And obviously great acting and characters that I can relate to. Like There Will Be Blood's one of my favorites. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? And Heat is obviously one of my favorites, and American Psycho. I'm not saying I relate to it, but you know what I mean? And then, like there's American Psycho was so great because I could relate to his obsessive behavior, even though it was like, it was funny. Yeah. And he was and they made it funny. Yes. And Bale is one of my favorite actors of all time. So that was really my big introduction. This guy is so talented. He's making the psychotic shit so hilarious. Right. But his obsessiveness with everything at the same time was like, wow, I could really his obsession with music. Yeah. It's like, Yeah, exactly. Have you heard Phil Collins? Right before I friggin' axe you in the head. Like, that was just like, that was mind-blowing to me. First time I watched it, I was like, I don't get it, but it's like, but it stuck with me, and I watched it again. It's one of my favorite movies. Big Lebowski, favorite movie of all time, probably. My opinion. I personally have played a crate full of Leedz music on You Don't Stop. Thank you, Chuck, man. Appreciate it. This is huge right here, man. Wow. But yeah, Big Lebowski is, arguably, I could quote every scene. I think. I know every line. So yeah, dramas. That's a comedy, but it's kind of it's a dark comedy, I guess.
Very
but
dark comedy. Yeah.
I just liked I like flawed characters. I like flawed characters that are trying to just deal with life, walking through all that stuff. And that's kind of like how I think musically that way too. Like I think of like flawed people and flawed concepts and like just the struggle of the working class people and what we have to go through. And that's kind of just how it's all there. Movie, music, it's all the same.
Yeah. Storytelling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Realism, gritty realism.
Gritty realism. Yeah.
That's how I grew up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Real quick, since they're on the label, they're the homies. We got to talk about Black Medine real quick.
Oh yeah, absolutely. My brothers.
Yeah. You talk about how they came together and working with them early on.
Yeah, man. It all started really with a group. We were Solar Winds. It was our high school buddies, Kane and Colby Peck and B1 Brad McDonald, and that was like we listened to hip hop in high school, and then we all just started rapping together. And they took it a little more serious. I was a DJ, and then Yusef came into the picture. I forget. Oh yeah, because we had Everready was the DJ. Colby went to college and met this kid Everready, and Everready was from Andover, where Yusef was from. So they all started to get together, and then really Brad and Kane and Yusef kind of took it a little more serious and just started rapping and putting out music and whatnot. And then Al J came into the mix. I started doing shows in the Boston scene, and they met Al J, and that's how they all got together with Solar Promise for a while. Solar Prominence broke up, and then Al and Yusef, which were more had a lot in common, spiritually. And I was like, you know what? We did a song. We did a song. We recorded a song with Lord Jamar of Brand Nubian, Engage the Enemy. And LJ's line was, my team in the bean screamed Black Medine. And I was like, oh, that's a great group title. We should start a group. Yusef and Al should start a group called Black Medine, and that's how it all started right there.
That's how it started. Wow. That's dope.
But those guys are like so easy to work with. We all have the same taste. We came from the same era. I had a studio in my house. They would just come over every Wednesday, and we would make music, and that was early in my days of Chuck says played the MIDI Alien last August. Yeah. Played DC the MIDI Alien last August year. Big shout out to Acro. Oh yeah. Thank you, Chuck. Bear the burden. That was a great one. But yeah, so like my early days of recording home studio was Black Medine.
Okay.
And they would just come over and we vibe on beats and we would record music, and they were hardworking like me, and we were all consistent, and we just kept putting out. Geez, I don't even remember how many albums we did. We did a lot.
Yeah,
we did a lot, and it was just like chilling with your boys, making music, man. And they did a lot of shows. They're great live. They just recently opened up for Moral Technique a while ago, and everybody came. They opened a show up, and everybody was coming up and be like, "Yo, they set it off!" Like out of everybody, they just really good, and they're friends and good friends.
Yeah,
and it was great to see. When I got more involved in the Middle East, I started moving into management and talent buyer. I didn't have the time to record as much as I used to, and I had to kind of step away from it. And that's when they linked up with you shortly after that.
Yeah. And
I'm grateful for that, because they've been able to carry on that legacy and tradition with you guys and Spit Slam and Chuck and everything. And it's been great seeing all that happen.
Yeah,
You guys been doing great.
that was they reached out. Yusef reached out to me for a beat. We did the joint with Granddaddy IU.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. On the EP, and then he asked for more beats, and I'm like, yeah. I sent him like 5 beats, and he's like, yeah, we're working on this, and then I was like, why don't I just send you 5 more, and then we'll just make that an album. He's like, okay. And I'm like, well, why don't we just put this out on Spit Slam? He's like, yeah, really? I'm like, yeah. I mean, because what the music they do and that we started doing together just fit in the aesthetic so easily. It was a no-brainer,
Yeah, and it was tricky, and it works. For me in the beginning, it was trickier with them because Boston is very, wasn't really as supportive to Islamic based music at the time. And you got to remember, we're coming out of 9/11.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So like there was still Islamic phobia going on.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of Bostonians were like, what is this? Yeah. It's like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Because like you had big like Slane and Right Hook and these other guys are like these really loud, aggressive artists, and then it's like Black Medine, it was like an Islamic thing, and like it wasn't. There were people that liked it, but it back then it was tougher to be if you weren't regionally. Everything was very regional, so if you weren't like all the way in with your scene, you were kind of out. You couldn't go national like you can easily here with a click of a button. Right. So it, I'll say Black Medine was an acquired taste in Boston.
that tracks. That tracks.
You know what I'm saying? They'll tell you that. But they were dope, but it might not be a thing.
Yeah.
But now it's like, they can connect all over the world real easy, and it's great. But it was a lot of building back then.
Yeah.
You couldn't just put them on any hip hop show.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. When you get them on the right hip hop show, people are like, yeah. You get them on the wrong one, it's like, what is this?
Right.
Yusuf was in here, but I think he's gone now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he was around earlier. Oh, there he is.
Yusuf.
There he is. Yusuf, go check your Instagram.
It was a crazy era, he said.
Yeah, he'll tell you. He'll tell you. I mean, there just wasn't many opportunities, so you'd have to throw him on show. I think they opened up for Sammy Adams. I don't know what I was thinking with that one, but I was just get him in front of a crowd. Right.
Yo, listen, I'm gonna put this bug in your ear too, if ever possible, right? If they're ever, because I've told Yusef too, I would love to get a live recording of them to do something a live project. That would be great.
We should do that.
Yeah.
Next show, I can easily do that.
Okay. Yep. Because I've told him about it before. It's been a number of years. I probably need to remind him, but yeah, I'm going to tell you, Leedz, so you know. But I think that would be good. That would be really.
Well, if you see them on a flyer and I forget, remind me.
Okay. All right. Substance abuse rear view, Craig G and KRS-One.
He's lost me on this one. I don't know what
this is. I'm guessing a song, I guess.
That was cool of Chuck D and Public Enemy to bring Black Medine off at Boston Calling and have him set it off. That was a great look for them.
Yeah.
Shout out to Public Enemy and Chuck for that one, dude. That was great. It was great to see you there too.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was cool, man. That was my.
I wish I could have stayed. I was so pissed because I was working the event and I had to leave. I'm sitting there watching Public Enemy on the side of the stage. Tom Morello's to the left of me, bugging out. And my job call saying, you got to get over and move this piano. I was so freaking mad, dude. I was so mad, dude. I was like, I couldn't say no. I was like,
right. Oh. Right.
So mad.
Oh, man. No, it was great. That's my first time in Boston. I'd never been up there.
Oh, word. So. Welcome.
Yeah.
Cool. How long did you stay? Were you here long?
I was just for the day, and then I think it came in and left out like the next day or so. But it was Yeah, Yusuf his dad had passed, and
Yeah.
so he didn't even think it was going to be able to come out, and then he was able to come out. That was great. So
Yeah, that was great.
yeah, very cool. But I walked around downtown with Al J for a while, and he showed me around some place. Yeah, it was cool.
Nice.
Yeah, weird fun. It was a good
But
time.
yeah, Black Medine is the homies, and we'll always be the homies.
Yeah. It's a good fit, man. Very good fit.
I always gravitated towards people that kind of worked and lived it. You know what I mean? Like artists that like lived it no matter what. Like success, failure, whatever, they'd still show up, and that's kind of like who I like to, I like to work with those type of artists that like that just are you going to make music and like record and do this no matter what.
Yeah.
They might have other jobs, they might do other things. They work, they do whatever they have to do, but they still make music at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And I've always kind of gravitated towards people like that because I'm that guy. So it's like I need to be, if I'm going to give my time and energy and put it into this, I need to know that person is living it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
And Black Medine is definitely that.
Yep.
100%.
Most definitely. Leeds, anything else you want to mention before we wrap it up?
I guess my question for you: what did you think? What was the standout moments to you in the album? Just curious, hard to learn your opinion.
So I've only listened to it the one time, so I can't give you a comprehensive review yet. But
okay, cool.
Because I'm not.
Let me know.
Yeah. I'm not one that just listened to it once and like, this, that, and the other thing. I gotta get into it. But, it's like I said before the show started, it's an epic record. Yeah. I mean, from beginning to end. Love the skits. The title track is fantastic. I mean, and just right off the top, that's a great way to start the record.
Cool.
Yeah.
Because you put together go ahead, sorry.
No, I was gonna say I was actually surprised you had the History is Watching remix, and it kind of starts off the same way, and it's technically a remix, but I was expecting it to change a lot more. But so
beat.
Yeah. So I thought.
All right, so I'll talk to that real quick. Okay. I originally wanted the song to sound like the remix did, with the singing chorus, with someone singing it, but timeline. Money, we kind of like we're rushing to get it, rushing to get it done. So, and I always loved that beat. Like from day one, before we recorded over, like Kane sent me that beat. I was like, this is a beat that I want to use. I kind of had the idea for like putting like a really old school rapper on it. Like originally it was like I want to do something with Kaz. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I was like, but I was like, it was, and then I did a podcast with Daddy O, and he was staying in Boston. I was like, all right, let's just do Daddy O.
Yep. Right.
So I always wanted to keep that, but then they used it. So I needed to make it different, but I wanted to keep the beats. So I was like, oh, switch that. So we gave it a singing hook. Yeah. And I did that with another song too. I added a third verse to one of the other one, The Dark Side.
Yeah.
Wait, Daddy-O is on it?
Yeah. Daddy-O's on it. Yeah.
Never heard of him. Okay.
From
NJ to AK 182 said the one with Emsky and Sadat is fire, and yeah,
that's just like boom bap. If you are a boom bap fan, that is like. And I made that with that in mind. I was like, this is when I'm making just a straight boom bap record. It's just so easy to market that like down that lane. Like it's just like, but musically when I kind of jump out into different things, it's a harder thing to market. It's not like. If you do like a hybrid rock or alternative hip hop record, like you think like, oh, I'm just grabbing this over here and combine it, it'll be bigger. Not necessarily the case.
Right.
It's like two circle graphs and that little spot in the middle, that's the audience. It's smaller. Yeah. But it's what I love. I grew up on like alternative rock, and I got to jump around a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the tracks on the record, they work. Right. So in the context of it all, so it's not like it's some crazy left field turn or anything.
Yeah, if I could get a theme or concept out of covers and like the way Archetype does it, he kind of redoes the whole song. It's not like like with Downbound Train, which is a Bruce Springsteen song. Like we just made it sound completely different. You know what I mean? Like we wanted it to sound as far from the original as possible, because Archetype's vision with, covers is like, if it sounds too much like the original, you're not going to listen to it at all.
Yeah.
Like you just might as well just listen to the original.
This is the original, yeah.
But if we reinterpret it completely and give it a whole different feel, then it's almost like a remix in a way. I kind of look at it as remixing.
Yeah.
But covers are more to help me tell the story. Like, and I'm a huge Springsteen fan. Like, that was a way we did it. We kind of gave it a little bit of a hip hop beat underneath it, and it made it kind of more somber.
Yeah.
Same thing with Primus. Like, we did Those Damn Blue Collar Tweakers, which is like a blue collar anthem, and we flipped that rock record into a hip hop beat. Right. Shout out to Tape Ghost on that. God forbid.
Too. Yeah.
But it's like, so I like doing that stuff. That's not for everybody, but like, to me, it's like, I stand behind it. It makes the album cohesive, gives it a little different flair. And I'm very proud of that stuff.
Yeah. Really dope. So, yeah, I'm going to revisit it again, man. And
it's all good. I just needed your opinion. You do a lot of albums, so I'm just like, hey, I'm curious what you thought, man.
I do a lot of albums. No, man. I was, like I said, that's why I was asking about how you put it together, because just listening to it, I'm thinking in my mind, man, putting this record together had to be crazy, To
be honest, it came effortlessly.
That's great.
Like, it's just like I just can ride it like a roller coaster, man.
Yeah.
I do. If there's something that doesn't fit or I need something, I'll get obsessive at that point. Like, we got to put something in, you know what I mean? Like, but like, to me, it's like I can feel the whole arc of the album pretty easily.
Gotcha.
And create it.
Yeah. That's dope, man. Well, it's out now. Hard to Learn, Leedz Edutainment. Go check it out, streaming. And
hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Anytime, bro. Thanks for
shout out to you guys for doing this and keeping it going and all that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Right.
Keeping it going is huge, man. I'm still keeping it going over here.
Telling you, man. I know so. Yep.
I do.
Yep.
But shout out to Ghost Boogie. Shout out to Chuck D, Split Slam, all you guys. Thank you.
Yeah. What's up, Errol? Yeah, Ghost Boogie probably want to have you on his show, so there you go.
I'm down.
Connect.
Hit me up.
Yeah. Thanks, man. I appreciate you coming through, Leeds.
No doubt.
All right, bro.
Peace. We signing off here?
We're signing off.
All right. Take care.
Yeah, you too. Peace. There we go.
There we go.
Hell yeah, please. I'll put you in touch, Ghost. And get you the hookup. I got a couple other ideas for you too. So, yeah, good stuff. That's our show tonight. Gotta talk real quick. Spit Slam new releases. Shipping now. Dave Psy cassettes, 5 words EP. CDs.
Oh shit.
Yeah, SpitSlamRecords.com. These are available now. Shipping out. And then last week we had the Magnificent 7. Issue 4, Cut Beatles. So check that out now.
Exactly.
Yeah. We got 4 of the 7 are out. So, there you go on CD, and you can stream that too if you want. Yeah. And, of course, let me get it. If you don't already, get your Rap Central Station subscription. Issue, what is this one?
3.
4 is coming soon. So stay tuned for that. But get your subscription. Make sure you get it. Yes, rest in peace, Dolly Parton. 80 years old, the legend. An amazing person, An amazing person. So, yeah, thank you guys for joining us tonight. And check out all the other stuff, great stuff we got going on here at Channel Zero. Yeah, with the vinyl, that's right, Ghost. For the Rap Central Station. We put together another one for the next issue, chock full of goodies. Tomorrow, Dave Psy. I might be sitting in with Dave Sy tomorrow because I think Mocha Only is still on tour. So I'll have to talk to Dave. But he had extended an invitation last week. I was still very sick. But
I held it down.
you held it down, JOJ. Thank you.
I ran the damn thing.
Yes, you did. What was it? What was it? Oh, it was the Gravediggers, right?
Gravediggers. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. 6 feet deep. Yeah. So tomorrow night, I'll talk to Dave. Maybe we'll do Body Hat Weekly. And I don't know if Vashon's still in here, VQ, but waiting for his next episode. But he's got a couple up. If there's a new one, it'll be on Thursday. And of course, Phil Jackson, Side B TV on Friday. And Sunday is the mixtape. And Monday is Southern Vanguard Radio. Shout out to John Doe. I saw he was in the place to be. So
yeah, Eddie Meeks is behind the scenes. He's not saying anything, but he's there.
Okay, Eddie's there too. Okay, so salute to them, and check out Southern Vanguard Radio. Always playing. They never repeat the songs.
Ghost Boogie, what do you know about K-Day?
Ghost Boogie knows. GB knows. Ghost Boogie, great to see you in here, bro. I'm glad you are on the mend. So, shout out to you, bro. And I got to go check out the Ultramag interview from last night. I didn't get to see it yet. Peace, Mr. Chuck. And also, brand new Hip Hop Gods Radio with Flatline. He's got a new episode out on Mixcloud, so go check that out as well. And please like and subscribe here at Channel Zero. Tell a friend or two if you think they'll dig what we do. And we'll see everybody next week for another episode of It's C-Doc again.